Hello everyone, how are you today? As usual, I'm taking advantage of the sun today with my dogs. Today, I wanted to share with you this lovely book. Let's read the title first. A book that takes its time, an unhurried adventure in creative mindfulness by Irene Smith and Astrid van der Hulst. I think it's like the authors are Dutch, as you can tell from the names. What I actually love about this book is it has lots of activities in it. Like it speaks about mindfulness, how to slow down in our busy daily life, and enjoy the little pleasures of life, be grateful about the little things. And but what I actually appreciate about it are the illustrations and the activities included. You can see like these are cards you can cut, and for example this one here you can see like it says, did you spot any of these today? You have a feather, you have a bird, you have um street tree. So basically it's just like an encouragement to slow down and notice the beauty around you. It does have also some quotes you can use. You can cut and keep them wherever you like to. Let me read a bit from this book, okay? Good. Every now and then, see everything with fresh eyes. With a beginner's mind, you're open to the world and the people around you, and you see things as they are without immediate judgment. This is a quote by Steve Jobs. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner. Freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. That's interesting. Seriously, like the power of our mind is huge. How we see things, how we interpret things around us. I want to discuss with you something called, probably you're familiar with it, cognitive distortions, or like how we twist our thinking. Really, these are the lenses through which we see the world. We don't see things as they are, we see things through these lenses usually in much clearer way, to be fully present without our mind's filter. We will be discussing these, but first I want to go through some of these pages in this book. First of all, the illustrations are just awesome. I really love the art. I love the little activities, booklets that guide you through your journey. It's like taking a journey. You have so much ideas, so much activities included. Poetry pictures. Have this envelope. It's stuck. And then you have stickers you could use for different activities in the book, like nature, um, pets, very cute, birds, flowers. So it's in this envelope. You can enjoy these activities while going through the book. So I wanna go through some of the twisted thinking. Our mind like tricks us in different ways. So we'll go through some of them. For example, you've got the all or nothing thinking. So you see things in black or white categories. If a situation falls short from perfect, you see it as a total failure. Let's take an example of someone on a diet. and you cheat. You decided to, like, you were tempted to eat this slice of pizza, this piece of cake, whatever, and then you go like, oh, now since I broke my diet, I might as well eat the whole thing, and just not go on with my diet. So this is the kind of all or nothing mindset. If you are more realistic, you might go like, another way to see this is, okay, fine, I ate a piece of cake, um I cheated, but that's fine. Now I can go back to my diet and just like try to go on eating healthier food as the plan goes. It's fine. It was one setback, two setbacks, three setbacks, but that doesn't mean that I can't go back to my diet, right? Another form of distorted thinking, for example, let's say you have like romantic rejection, not getting the job after one interview. You see that as a never ending pattern of defeat, right? You go like, um, or like you make this generalization, oh, I'll never now get a job, I failed this one, so I probably never gonna get a job. I got rejected on this date, so I'm never gonna be in a relationship. So you make these overgeneralizing statements that really are unrealistic after all. Then you have the mental filter. Example, getting one negative feedback. Let's say you got one negative feedback on or comment on something you've done, um, on any project, and on the other hand you got lots of positive ones too, but your mind chooses to focus on this one negative comment, one negative feedback, to feel discouraged and dwell on it. It's like a drop of ink that discolors a beaker of water. That's like a good analogy. Then we have discounting the positive, saying that this positive experience doesn't really count or doesn't really matter. Like anyone would have done this job just like as good as I've done it. The problem with this way of thinking is that it takes the joy out of life and makes you feel inadequate and unrewarded. It's not really good for building character and having self-confidence and feeling encouraged to achieve more in life, is it? Another one is jumping to conclusions. I feel we do that a lot without realizing. Let me give you an example on jumping onto conclusions. Okay, let's say you're driving your car and then this car behind you tries to trespass you in a kind of rude way, and on full speed. Usually, the first thought that might come to mind is that this person is being like acting out of ego, showing off, maybe being have no manners in driving, subjecting other people to danger. But what if? Just consider that for a second, because it's possible, right? What if this person has someone sick in hospital or some kind of emergency or an urgent matter to deal with, or they're late for something they're not supposed to be late for and that can affect their life? Like, it's funny how our mind always tends to go to the first negative thought and being judgmental, and it rarely justifies people's behavior. So we jump into conclusions without having enough facts or reasons to do so, right? Okay, another one would be labeling, and people do that a lot, let's admit it. For example, let's say you are invited to dinner, and the person you're supposed to have a meeting with, let's say, is late. So we might like we might just label this person, oh, this person is a is a jerk, right? Like this person is has no manners, and or you know so yeah, we tend, like, when someone does something wrong, we just it's easier for us to just label this person. This person is a jerk. This person um is stupid. I don't know. We just use these words, and the thing is, labeling is, you attack the person's character and essence rather their behavior or thought in that instance. So it's and it leaves no room for communication, because you already categorize this person under a certain characteristic where you are not open to discuss and see what's the real problem. Like, it could be this person has their own reason that they were late, right? Or it could be they tend to be late, but it's like one of their shortcomings. Yet on other, like in other areas in their life, they can be kind, they can be intelligent, they can be considerate. Personalization and blame is another one here. Let's say for example, let's say for example, you have a kid, and your kid got bad grades in school. So the first thing people, like some people, the first thing they would go like, oh, I'm a bad parent. I'm not a good enough parent. I'm not, instead of like pinpointing the problem, like um maybe your kid has a very specific problem that needs to be dealt with properly, and there you are just sitting and blaming yourself, right? It's like a hindrance to find the solution, really, and pinpoint the cause of the problem. Another way is to blame others or the situation, and like not ignoring completely your part in it, like not acknowledging how you're contributing to the situation. Also, this is another way of being unfair, and it makes you helpless. It makes you feel helpless and powerless to make any positive changes, right? To solve the problem. So, this is where really perception plays this very huge role. These are just few examples. Um, so then you have the should statements, like you're so rigid in the way you think, like you go like, um, I should not eat, let's say, donuts. You should not be stubborn. But like the problem with these should must have two statements is that they are really like they lack flexibility, and usually you get a different reaction than the desired one. People tend to be more rebellious, let's say, because no one wants to be forced to do something like that, right? Then we have the emotional reasoning. um, Emotions have their role in our life, and they can be really helpful, but sometimes they can come in the way of thinking clearly. Sometimes they're biased, sometimes they're not precise, they're not accurate. Let's say for example, you are scared to get on an airplane, right? So that doesn't have to mean that flying is actually like the airplanes are really that dangerous, for example. You just happen to have this kind of fear, this kind of phobia, right? um let's say you feel guilty and your mind tells you you're a horrible person. Like, no, you're not. You made a mistake. Maybe you didn't deal with the situation properly, but that doesn't really make you a horrible person all in all. You're just a human who makes mistakes, right? So emotional reasoning can be a hindrance like that. Then we have the magnification. You exaggerate the importance of your problems and shortcomings, and on the other hand, minimize the importance of your desirable qualities and achievements. It's called the binocular trick. Again, this is a kind of mental distortion that doesn't help to build you up, right? It doesn't help you to be the best of who you can be. It doesn't help anyone really, but we do have them, unfortunately. So, when we practice mindfulness, we use our attention like a flashlight, shining it onto our experience. Our experience refers to changing internal states such as thoughts, physical sensations. Finally, realizing we are not alone in our suffering can make it less personal. Someone somewhere is going through what you are experiencing. It is the human condition. I hope this was helpful and stay well till next time. Bye.